provide some information as it pertains to the Brown Pelican Sport Award this year?
At this point, Stephen, unfortunately not. Due to, of course, the issue with Irma, we did not have it as yet. It would usually have been around November 13th, 12th, right after St. Martin Day. Due to the issues that we've had, we have not pinned down the date for that as yet. What we did have, though, was the sports department collaboration in hosting all of the games that were held for the celebration of leading up to and on St. Martin Day, where they had some games as well take place. But as soon as the sport department has finalized that advice for the Brown Pelican Sports Awards, you will be informed.
Thank you, Mrs. Stevenson. Ms. Solita Singh.
Thanks again, Rodney. Minister Jacobs, I know there have been many other pressing matters on your agenda, but my question has to do with an assessment of all of the registered monuments following Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria. Do you have an assessment of those, and what is the current status?
The cultural department, together with inspectors, did go out and do assessments right after the storm. I don't have the actual document in front of me to give you the most accurate numbers. I actually had received separate documents from sports, from education, and from youth, and from culture, right? And the ministry was tasked now to compile a complete assessment report, which I received a draft of yesterday. So it has to be just a little tweak here and there, and then it will be handed over to the relevant authorities, including Parliament and the media. But for sure, 100% of our monuments have been affected. Some totally destroyed. As you drive through, you can see, for instance, the Methodist Church in Phillipsburg, the former St. Joseph School, which is now the Tommy Hilfiger building, received almost complete damage. Many, if not all, but some were also uncovered. Some new ones were also uncovered. Seamark, which houses the archaeological artifacts, had severe damage, but we were able to secure some of that in a space. The library, which has a lot, also lost some, and the St. Martin Museum sustained a lot of damage as well. So we've been trying to work with them to secure the materials. We did receive and request and receive assistance from the Netherlands in the person of a specialist in the restoration and preservation of materials. And on the last trip with the Carol Dorman, the inventory was supposed to include some necessary equipment for her to carry out the work. However, she was here over a period of 3 days after the Carol Dorman arrived, but due to the massive amount of material that was offloaded, and it was difficult to find that exact package. So she left before we could finalize, finding which exact package had been sent to assist her with the machinery, etc., that she needed. So that has not yet happened, but as I said before, the aid that has been sent in the emergency period has been very forthcoming and helpful, and we look forward to being able to actually make use of that help in being able to restore some of our important documents as well. The Monument Council is working very, very closely with the Culture Department and with our professionals in Curacao. And in Curacao, I think in Statia, there's also someone that the Netherlands is willing to let come over and help us, and the materials that they have sent thus far. So it's part of the program. It hasn't been publicized as such. I also have not publicized much in terms of the damages to sports. The priority at the time was really getting schools and the daycare centers up and running, and so now the focus is shifting a little bit to those areas and is receiving the necessary attention as well. Thank you.
Mr. Andrew Dick of the Daily Herald.
Yeah, Minister Jacobs, concerning the national government, I know that you said that you want that still be on the table. How are the talks going so far, if you can say?
Well, to be honest, after having made that call, one meeting was held, then there was a lull, and several attempts since then were made to host meetings. I believe the MP Arian also had a call in Parliament for it, which I think would have been a great opportunity for parties to show their hand and their intention. However, that also proved to be a futile attempt. I can't say truly that I've given up on the idea because I still believe that's the best thing for St. Martin. However, at this point, I am waiting for the acknowledgement from the other parties to say that this is truly something they are ready and willing to work on. At this point, we have no agreement. We have had no formal discussion.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NV.
Money was allocated for the renovation work and looking at the damage caused by Hurricane Irma as well.
Yeah, that is so true. We started and have basically almost completed. That was the entrance that we were renovating. Part of that also got damaged again with the hurricane. I don't have the exact figure. I think it's around 300,000 guilders. I think that was on the budget for that repair. That specific repair was the entrance, and we were going to follow up with other repairs. What happened is, as I mentioned, we have the experts on the ground that we look at the whole situation and moving forward and all of the requirements that we would need to bring it back to pre-hurricane. Yes, it would be, let's call it livable, but it still would need a lot to be done on it to have it ideal or close to ideal. And the question would be, is that a wise investment? And the last advice that we got was from the structural engineer, who know about prisons, etc., who also came in the context of the emergency aid. We requested someone to look at it for us. And basically the conclusion was the same as we felt. So we had a situation here where, with the way the political climate is, if we maybe had said it that is the case, you know, we can't always be trusted. But we have a situation where the colleagues on the ground from the Netherlands and the colleagues on St. Martin basically are on the same line, on the same opinion where that is concerned. So the wisest thing to do would be to move forward now and making the necessary plans to have that new facility built, that down the road we don't have to worry with all of these situations.
Alita Singh of the Daily Herald.
Thank you, Rodney. Good morning, both Minister Jacobs and Minister Boseman. My question is for Minister Boseman. It has to do with border control, and it has two aspects to it. The first is, of course, we had Hurricane Irma, which interrupted your ability to renew and issue permits. How is that process now? Because there have been quite some people waiting on their residency permits, and of course, with tighter border control, that will come into place. And border control also has to do with visa and visa requirements. Is there any are there any plans to, for instance, implement more visa requirements during the reconstruction period?
Sorry. No. The only reason for the interruption was that the offices were damaged and were closed for a specific period. I mentioned before we did not change any regulation, but we will strictly adhere to the existing regulation. What we need to look at, for instance, there could be, we have to separate the different requests that come in for a permit. You could have, let's separate them between first time and a renewal. And let us just look at first time requests. A first-time request, the person's supposed to be off island. So they are not on the island. They are waiting on an approval, a landing permit for them to be able to go and request a visa to be able to come to St. Martin to work. Let's just say that a request came in pre-hurricane for 5 roommates for the housekeeping department from one of the hotels that was totally destroyed. It was approved by the Labor Department, let's say. It is now, so the employment permit was given. It is now by the Immigration Department to give the residence permit. Should the Immigration Department give the residence permit knowing, one, that that person is not on the island, definitely should not have been on the island, all right? Knowing that the employer who requested that the situation has changed, that the employer no longer need those 5 people because the other 25, for instance, that were already working were all laid off or their hours were reduced. So would we then go and issue those permits to have those folks come in to create a bad situation for them and for us? The answer is no. So again, we would not immediately changed any procedure, but those permits that were not granted as yet, that were not signed off as yet, and especially the first-time requests that come in, they would be scrutinized to see if the situation warrants that they come in. The same would be, and that's where we hope to be working together with the Labor Department, because the Immigration Department doesn't know who were dismissed. So you need to work with the Ministry of VSA to get that information. So if people are no longer employed and a request is pending from the employer, then it is also up to the employer to withdraw those requests. But in doing so, we have to treat the people properly. It is not so. It is not a situation that employers should use to get rid of people without paying them what is duly theirs, etc. So the Immigration Department would not lend itself for that purpose. So we are not just going to go and start picking up people, throwing them off the island, while the employers still owe them thousands of dollars. So their matters would have to be settled in a proper way. And I know the Ministry of VSI was looking into a voluntary repatriation program, and that is being discussed. So no new regulation, but a tighter scrutiny of how we go about, how we move forward.
all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 fun mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of fun miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free fun miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, from within your reach.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
The technical guys are out there in the field, but when they start to put back all the wires and everything, you know, we always have issues where meters were lost or meters were broken, and then the persons have to come into GB. Even though we don't have an office, what the managing board have done, only the management board building is what remains intact. So we gave up our offices, we use the space to accommodate our customer care persons. This is to enable the customers to have a location where they can call or where they can come in to put in their complaints or whatever they may have at that moment, or the help they be seeking. And we also have to accommodate even our vendors who we have to pay, because life continues. No matter what, whether they have a building, yes or no, we are a company and we have to provide the service we have to provide.
Some of the things that we encounter, you know, like GB was okay until apparently 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. But during the process of the storm, we get a lot of telephone calls where people was calling, a roof gone, the house is on fire. So at that time, we was shedding down loads. So like, let's say if somebody from St. Peter's call and say, hey, my neighbor house gone and I see fire, I will just shut down the whole of St. Peter's. You understand? So basically it was like that. The last generator we keep running was only to keep the hospital running, you know. Then that was like 6:30, so we stopped that generator. Because the four generators that we have, they work on radiator. All the rest is work on seawater, cooling seawater we use. For the 4 that we had, we use radiator for those. And at the process during the storm, being that we had cameras, but as you could see, they are out through from the storm. One of the buildings, the roof went. At the time, we didn't know it was the roof, because when the water was coming in and dropping on the exhaust, we thought it was something like a fire. So we just stopped that motor like that generator, and come to find out that the piece of the roof had left the building.
But the month after the storm, we had a St. John's powered up, Ebenezer powered up, and Belvedere. I know for Belvedere for a fact they were on for a short time, they went back off because of some challenges we had at the power plant. But we know for a fact we had power in those areas on, and that area was good to go. So the underground cabling for GB over the last 22 years, it is paying off. We're not computers yet, but for sure we have come a long way as GB. And I must give thanks to those who were back then, had this vision to go underground, and all who worked along to get it underground as well too. Because if it wasn't for that job done in those years, we as management board could not say, hey, we are pretty much 40 to 50% back to our demand at this point in time. Our demand was about 55 megawatt pre-EMA. Today, we are producing 25 megawatt of power. So just under 50% of power is being produced right now. That's a huge improvement versus 1995. We like we call from the charts back then because luckily I was not living in Smitten back then, I was away studying. The power after Lewis was around 6 megawatt for some weeks and increasing gradually from there. And today, about a month after, we're 25 megawatt. So it's a huge improvement for St. Martin to have our underground cable underground. When I look around at my Caribbean islands, and those who got struck by Maria, and also those by Irma, and they are totally destroyed, I must say, G became an example for those islands to try the utmost best to also go underground with cabling. It's a costly investment, but it pays off in the long run. Because had we not gone underground with over the years, we would have been probably another 5-6 months without power through the whole island.
Government declared a state of emergency on September 8, 2017, 2 days after Irma razed the country. This resulted from the devastation as well as the plague of looters. With the state of emergency, the curfew imposed the day before Irma struck was maintained. The curfew remained in effect to allow businesses and residents to resume some normal operations. This curfew was synchronized with that of the French side. The curfew and the state of emergency came to an end on October 6, 2017.
The offices of the chief of the communication department and so on, the detective department have been severely damaged, suffered major water damage along with other damage of equipment and so on. The systems is down. Our central dispatch, our emergency 911 central dispatch, which is the what you call state-of-the-art central dispatch, the roof of the building completely blew off. That's above the drugstore, as you know, behind me. And all that equipment has been damaged. We have to do a complete assessment of what the damages are, but we are trying to function to the best that we can from here. And so that's how we are right now. It's unfortunate that this happened. And I want to tell the community, look, it's sad to see that so many people did not adhere to the curfew. We were trying to, or we still is trying to maintain law and order and to prevent people from committing criminal acts. But it is so overwhelming that you can't control it once it gets out of hand. And that is one of our major problems right now. It's tonight and we are going to send out patrols during the night. Hope that we'll be able to maintain or keep down the what you call looting. It's so unfortunate that St. Martin has come to that, this looting that is going on. And we try to, it's widespread and people should not use this type of crisis situation and go out and loot. This is not what St. Martin is all about. St. Martin is about a people that is kind and hardworking people and work for the things that they want and not look for these type of situations to take advantage of these things.